What a way to answer back instead of all nades. They get the win in Abyss with a 13-7, and it was also the map pick of 2 game. It's been very close between these two, and I gotta say, I told you guys, Adverso was gonna stand up, he was gonna start yelling, he was gonna start screaming, he was gonna start feeling himself, and honestly, he deserves it because Steriban, he did so good on this map.
Not only was he like shooting and his aim was just on point, his calling this game was really good. I felt like the whole game, AK had such a good read on 2G, really exploiting their weaknesses. Like on the attack side, they were really bullying Prize over on the A side, and even on their defense, they had such good reads on what 2G is doing and did a good job like really picking them off one by one and even like guessing where they're gonna hit, and it just felt all around like such a good day for Adverso. And it feels like on the other side, we have 2G that were really relying on hero plays. Like we had huge multi-kills from Silence, but other than that, the whole team kind of seemed a little quiet.
It was difficult, honestly, for 2G. I don't know why the name just crossed my mind, but for 2G in particular, yeah. I mean, Adverso, again, like you said, stepping it up, taking a stand, but it wasn't necessarily the hero plays that got me. Like, it's just so weird how Silence normally is that player to step it up. I feel like regardless whether it be Spike or Silence on that duelist role to kind of make that difference, it felt more like, you know, that cohesion that we typically see from a team like 2G. It literally just got canceled out a lot of the time by AK and by the plays they were promising. Dante, I mean, I believe it was for the first kills 4 for Dante. It wasn't too drastic to the point where it would have been concerning, but for Adverso in particular, like being able to feel that comfort on that Sova and just really applying not only the pressure to allow those plays to come through, but also everybody else following off of Adverso and allowing him to truly shine this game was really it for me.
We are seeing the different faces that all nades want to show to us, and this is something that they talked about in one of the interviews. They said sometimes we can go and play very aggressive, sometimes we can play back. We have not only just the one version of Dante running it down, getting the kills, and that's how we're always going to win. We have different versions, and honestly, today's a great day to see that, where we're seeing this Dante Deus that maybe is not being the top fragger. He's still doing good, obviously. He's not being the top fragger, but you also have those players with more experience, like Adverso, helping him out and allowing the rest of the team to be able to close out and benefit the team for the better. So this is something that is really nice to see, and something that is absolutely needed when we're going to Ascension, when we're going to these group stage matches, Steriban, because you need not only the one team of, you know, let's go Dante Deus, let's go kill, but we have Adverso, we have Tinchov, we have Sevando, we have everybody else that is ready to get those kills as well and to secure the maps.
Yeah, everyone was really coming alive. Like, not only Adverso, like, hitting the ace last map, but hitting the ace this map. Like, you have Dante, who's able to go in, and you have, like, Sabando really, like, cleaning up these rounds, getting those pivotal kills, and even Tinchoff with, like, his setups. They were just so good, and you can really tell, like, everyone's just really stepping up for the group stages.
It's a dream come true for this team, and now that especially that they are able to push it to a third map, something that they talked about and they struggled as well before for these two teams. How are they going to be able to close it out in a dominant fashion? We've seen it for 2 game more than anybody else, especially as we approach this map of Bind Gompers, where we saw them play this Bind against Reta, and it was a 13-2. I mean, domination doesn't even finish to describe what this was for them. I'm wondering if they're able to do the same.
I'm not sure. I feel like it's a completely different game with this team. I feel like for AK, you know, they're so good at adaptations. They're so good at fixing up their mistakes. And maybe that be because of Adverso. Maybe that be because of Dante, right? Immediately getting 2Ks or 3Ks off the spot when they're in very, very tough positions. I feel like for this in particular, it's going to be a close game. But for 2K, with their performance coming down from Reta, there is, again, that comfort that I thought I was going to see on this map, but you never know. Like, you're coming to a map that 2G super comfortable on, that 2G really does have great performances on, that they've won against another team before, and then they just get scrapped. So it really is difficult. If Adverso's having a game, or maybe Sabando this time is going to have that shining star player moment, it could be one of those hero moments where, okay, one player carries the whole team, and then it's GG, and we're out of this.
but it's not even carrying in the sense that we've seen sort of Dante Dales, where he's getting 30 kills, 20 kills, whatever it is, and everybody else is also trying to help him and support him, set him up for success. We're seeing this team that is very cohesive, very coordinated, Starrybun. So that is what I'd like to see, especially because you've been highlighting a lot of the IGLing between these two teams. They are going back and forth trying to get those reads, and I feel like on Bind, you're going to need that more than ever.
Yeah, I feel like Bind is going to be such a fun map because I feel like both teams really thrive in like the chaos that they create. And I'm really hoping to see like the race to race head-on matchup. And, you know, the last time we saw 2G play this map, like they destroyed Reta. It was like 13-2. They played absolutely out of their mind. But it's been a while since we've seen AK play this map. But that was the same case for Abyss as well. We haven't seen AK play Abyss in quite some time. And they still had so many things prepared. So I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to Bind this time.
And you know where this is so interesting? Because last time that they played it, this is one of those maps where obviously it's Bind. They're playing race, but it's not Dante Dales on the race. It's actually Nico Machine playing on the race on this map. So if things remain the same, we're going to be seeing this completely new version of the team where you, instead of being Dante Dales the one going in, you're gonna have Nico Machine doing that exactly. So let's find out. Let's jump into the Black Knight Agent Select. Let's see if there's been any difference in the composition for All Night since the last time they played against Sholo's Laser. And it's gonna be actually Dante on the race. This is something new. They changed the duelist. They want to keep Dante Dales on the duelist only Gompers, and I'd like to see this. You're keeping this momentum. You're having it Verso as well on the Deadlock. So something completely new with this double Sentinel.
Dante's been trashing on this team a little bit, honestly, on the duelist. I think keeping him, you know, on that role is definitely the play. I like the Deadlock. I think the Deadlock for Adverso, especially with the performance that we saw, is going to help out tremendously. For me, especially knowing how to play with your util is definitely the best here.
I'm excited to see how this compositional change is going to play out for All Nights, and if Two Game can adapt just in time. Let's find out who gets the win with your casters is Wyatt and Shift.
Yeah, interesting little change up here. I mean, really, we've seen mirror matchups across the board, and results from about a month and change ago during the LATAM regionals would have led us to believe that we may have anticipated another one here, but not the case at all, Wyatt. A complete swap up, and this should mean a very different identity for All Nights on both sides of the spike.
Absolutely. I am glad to see this swap up from All Nights. Watching their bind within their region for the qualifiers to get here, not a good map for them. It was awkward with Nico Machine playing Raze. I think they needed a swap, and well, they're already off to a great start.
Oh, plus the grab net behind it. Yeah. Okay. Will it blend? 2G edition. Answer is it blends. Zap, last one left, nowhere to go. Yeah, I'm telling you, good Deadlock gameplay is so punishing on maps like this, where the choke points are so small, so predictable. Yikes.
Yeah, that is a destructive setup. And then as soon as that sonic sensor is activated, the fault line comes, and then when it fades, boom, just instant teleport comes through. That flanking presence as well, while A main is smoked off by the All Nights, like, so they can get free access to the TP. That is just a really cool setup.
Clean. Go next. All right. Round two.
Yeah, actually. Simply go next. I mean, and again, we've got all the classics, Scared of the Outlaw, but there actually isn't one. Dante, he's got the Vandal.
Just as potent. Maybe with a little bit more versatility if they want to try to get something crazy aggressive going in round three. Orb also aggressively going to be taken over towards B, so options here for AK, as Spike will be blocked off by the barrier mesh. And this will likely lead to a 5-man flood right down A main. Yep,
destroying that barrier mesh with Vandals, annoying. When you only have classics, I just want to disconnect from the server. Okay, Dante, spray goes completely awry. Vandal recovered for silence. All of a sudden, we've got a lot of danger for All Nights, man down, and only a ghost for Sabando.
It's a good look from the ops team there. Not only of did he collect the weapon, but also just a little bit of a... That was a Vandal versus a Classic, by the way. Little buddy not going to be able to get the spike planted, so it has to be picked up and done the old-fashioned way. And in that moment, All Nights were trying to retake right through the sky smoke just as it fades away. Adverso, good for one. Again, a trade by way of Classic, but All Nights have stopped the spike from being planted, and they've got a bit of a crossing angle to stop the teleport play as well. This is still very winnable. Just comes down to what is used next. Spike still has a lot of utility left. There's the wingman back in action. Sabando good to keep things even on the trades. Just down now to Sabando overall, and it's going to be Zap who has the last shot in, and a Blacklight Thrifty comes out in round 2.
That is so well handled at the end, waiting for the wingman to be able to get that cycle. Acts as a little distraction. Gets broken by Tinchoff in the corner, and then immediately, here comes that swing. Silence out, 2 with the Vandal that he recovered. That is an uncharacteristic whiff from Dante at the beginning of that round that just is the first domino pushed over.
Yeah, very true. Again, Classic versus Vandal. Classic versus Spectre. Both come out victorious. Flash exchanged with the Boombot over towards the showers area outside A. And 2G will use the Trailblazer plus cover of smoke to just walk their way over in towards A. Dante nearby. Paint shells going to be spent. Really won't cause too much deterrence as there's still an angle to get over towards U-Haul if they want to. And there will be a battle for this. Wingman's going to come through. Silent just trying to keep the high ground control in play, but Dante's still on this corner. Wingman, no, not going to get denied. Thought for a second it would, but Spike keeps his buddy covered, and that's enough for a 5v4 post plant.
Quickly back into Lamps. Potential just slightly overextended past the smoke, punished hard for it. And now it's just a matter of setting up the proper angles from 2G, but Eco Machine wins that first. Frenzy only.
Out of charges.
Shots over the top for Silent. Tag. Adverso trying to battle this one back and does catch at least some piece of him, but you don't think that's going to be enough to really change what's currently occurring. Nico just going to try to play a little bit of bait and switch here with Adverso, but 2G have re-smoked it. They'll back off, they'll stay safe, and now the opportunity of a defuse is out the window, plus the eliminations are good, and 2G will take the second, now going into what will be finally our first full gun round.
Yeah, a risk of some size, minor, but decision from 2G at the end to just fight and find these kills. They know that they're stuck in Lamps and they want to get those orbs. Look at Silence. He's already just 2 away from the showstopper. So that'll be pivotal in an early buy round to keep that stolen momentum going that they began with the second round eco.
Changes everything in terms of like how the rounds play out. It may only feel like only one round has been lost and then re-changed, but now you've got ultimates in the picture for your first full gun round on both sides. Yeah, you've got the Annihilation for Adverso, but close to having the Thrash for Spike. Not too far out of the picture from getting the rocket launcher out for Silent as, ooh, information is here. Good barrier mesh out, but 2G are happy to take it. Follow-up damage, though, is as significant as it gets. Blast pack to push it back into the wall. Paint shells right there to follow. And that's the combination of Deadlock Rays, baby.
Yeah, that's just the Valorant combo as old as time. You get something to make people stand still, and then you throw a grenade at them. And it's as effective as it was back when Astra just got released as it is today with Deadlock, Fade, any number of the agents that have that type of ability. I like this as well here from Tinchoff, pushed up deep into Long at the teleport. So if he needs to, he can escape, but the Cam has info on Hookah. He has a trip for info on Long if they try to push up here.
And he's going to get all the sound cues he needs. That's also the spike down.
Just get out.
Yep. However, because the teleport gets used, that's going to mean a free plant here. So there's a lifeline for 2G in this 2v3. The only question will be, where are they coming from? The other side of that is there's only one smoke available for Sabando. No information gathering tools for Nico.
Total disconnect between the remaining 2G players. Zap push forward, wants to find a entry, not an entry, but rather just the first kill in this situation. Rise on the angle.
Oh no.
Knows you won't win that on the retreat.
But this is a good kill of time here with the snake bite down. Prize can also retreat deeper in towards site. And this is really problematic for AK. They've got to go quick. They've got to clear so many corners. Zap's going to follow up with another elimination, and it's a 2v3 winner. And I think there's going to be a moment there where Tinchoff is saying, ooh, I got the first one clean. Maybe I should have held my ground a little while longer.
Yeah, that is a tough pill to swallow, a tough loss in that round. That setup from Tinchoff was great. I'm really liking his defensive Cypher play. And early on, this was super cool from that little Deadlock Rays duo to keep things even. Nico Machine just has to win that trade out in that situation, but can't connect the shots. And All Night's reduced to the eco, close to tons of ultimates though they'll have in the next gun round.
Yeah, and honestly, if you find a couple of picks here, there's argument that All Knights may be able to earn a couple of ults and actually spend them to pull back a Thrifty.
Yeah, definitely. You know, maybe they get a man advantage and, well, perhaps not, but they'll keep it even. And Adverso still has the ability to cocoon an enemy for a free kill.
Yep. It just doesn't feel as likely anymore, maybe with the amount of pressure that's on the way. Maybe if you catch good info here, you can pull one freely, but the angle playing in Hookah is not going to feel great towards doing that. Boombot out. Paint Shell's also deleting. Adverso, grab that down. It does hold 2G back a little while longer. Annihilation comes out, but it gets immediately countered. The pinch is in. Tinshoff able to find 2 and keep his life. But the Annihilation instantly canceled, gets us to a flat-out 2v2. Gun advantage coming through for 2G, but the pressure out for AK is decent. Just out of the last shot, then it's Tinshoff again, who comes out this time for the Thrifty and the clutch. Oh, unbelievable stuff from AK.
That's just pure intuition, timing, and some confidence there, swinging out of that smoke together. Just at the moment it was going to fade. So nicely done. At the very end, already there's been 2 ecos in this game. Pretty mental. And now here we go. This is the round where everyone has just been storing up their ultimates.
Yeah.
7 available across both teams.
And full weapons. So you gotta figure this will be an explosive round. Thrash, I think, is the first thing to keep an eye on here for Spike, as Danze has not made any commitment calls for the showstoppers, also playing very passively. Will join his teammates over towards B, and they're going to largely avoid this Thrash, at least in terms of not being connected by it. Showstopper out through the teleporter, though, does catch on to Spike, so now it's just down to getting the Spike planted. Orbital Strike is at the ready if Sabando wants to use it, but it's late, and he's going to have to pull off of it now. Now you have to play retake through the Viper's Pit. This is messy for All Knights all of a sudden.
Trailblazer going to come out from short, pressure onto Zap.
Has to hold it.
Forced to crouch.
Has to hold this. 1 would be great. 2 is a miracle. Seeker's now being pulled. And the orbital strike, it just doesn't feel like it matters anymore. It's just down to the 2v2. All of it fighting backside of the site. Seeker still chasing down Dante, and Silent finds the kill. Everything that was earned was spent. And 2G come out on top now, 4-2 up.
And once again, if there were ever a time for Zap to stand up after a round, you said it. 1 is good, 2 is a miracle. Come on, we gotta have better spacing than that to trade onto him. That is a travesty. He just can't get away with that. And everyone else able to fight forward due to that crazy 2K. And All Knights right back onto the eco. I mean, right back to nothing as far as the credits go.
Oh boy. All right, let's take a breath, friends. We're gonna have a moment here. Shoulders being thrown for All Knights. We'll catch some pretty decent information that there is play pretty heavily stacked over towards Showers. Adverso still trying to do what he can from backside boxes. Grab that throne. Gives him a chance, but the paint shells actually land and deal some significant damage. Similarly so, you could say the same thing, though, for AK, as now the stim boost is down. Looking to make a play right over the top of mid, but Zap, little high-low setup with his teammates, will find the first blood and then turn it into more, almost taking 3 with them, but Sabando trades, but the defense is down, and down pretty bad. Last one left, Tinshoff coming from the B side.
Yeah, just an easy, comprehensive hit. Orbital Strike used as well, just intentions of keeping this safe, trying to lock this round up, keep the economy growing. 2G are off to a hot start. I mean, remember, on day 1, they obliterated Rada on this map, 13-2. Most dominant map of the tournament, and it was the very first one. Looking to replicate that here. This is a map where they are so strong. Silence statistically as well. Raze is actually his, if you're just going by the numbers, his best agent coming into this tournament had a 1.07 kill per round over the past 3 months of play, which is all the Challengers stuff, all the Challengers playoffs. I mean, that is a diabolical stat line. How are you getting a kill around? And just the hair over as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just crazy.
And I think, again, this is mimicking what we had seen from map number 1. It comes by way of not just finding that kind of value in the kill department, but more importantly, you do it with speed and tempo. So it's just like everything seems to stack against you. The snowball turns into an avalanche really quickly. Now, here's the interesting thing, and what I was going to ask you here, Wyatt. Tactical pause out for all nights. I would say just kind of evaluating the first 7 rounds. Let's just even call it the most recent 4 because of the anti-eco loss. I really haven't felt that All Knights have been out of any of these rounds when they've had full weapons. It's just the one round that we had it also had 7 ultimates on it. So it just got a little crazy.
Yeah, 100%. What I would like to see from All Knights at this point in the game is playing, I mean, listen, we've already seen a lot of deadlock in this tournament on Bind because that's what TSM run, and it's their best map. And Proto's setups are really strong, and his ability to lock down specifically showers gives TSM a really huge advantage on defense, especially on A, where they can just focus towards short. And with these A hits coming in really fast and furious, I want to see the deadlock controlling that part of the map.
Yeah, instead of hookah.
Shut these splits down.
Yeah. A lot of utility has been used over towards kind of hookah and mid. Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, if you were to just recap the last handful of rounds, if Tinchoff gets the 1 kill and then doesn't teleport, AK probably win that round in the 3v2. The ultimate chaos, if they just don't get doubled up on the cross and the player crouch, they probably win that round as well. So, I mean, all things told, this will feel more like a 4-3 in favor of All Knights. Adverso now going to deal with some issues, though, and the first cross will just see Spike, but extra footsteps, I'm sure, have been heard. But again, kind of voluntarily going to give away showers here, are All Knights defensively.
Yeah, it seems like he wants to, right now, find a timing where the hit is going to come in to throw down the barrier mesh. He's got it in hand. That flash comes out just to provide further information. They want to just test the waters and see if the 2G players are still there. And of course, they are. And in the meantime, Zap is working up Octagon, wants to make some noise and then teleport back to his team.
Yeah, there's the barrier, but it's instantly deleted. It just splits off the offensive play. Viper wall goes up, 2G come in, and they come into a waiting trap. Decent trades coming through. Blast path kill. Always have to point those out when they happen because they're rare and they're always fun to see.
30 seconds left.
And
you definitely need someone at 1 HP to get that one down there.
Enemy remaining.
Teleport away.
Spike
Sabando
down,
just
B.
catches prize.
Yeah.
So fast there.
doesn't feel likely, especially with Tinchoff nearby, to possibly do the exact same thing that Sabando did. And oh boy, to make matters worse, there's fire in front of him, and Tinchoff comes up from behind, no worries. So yeah, again, the barrier mesh does get thrown, doesn't really amount to too much, but the passive setup on the A site this time does catch out this 2G attack.
Yeah, just holding in the smokes. 2G have been really active at trying to get back sight. So it's a good place to anchor from. They've really just caught 2G trying to push too far for the positioning, and that has been good for them on some of these prior rounds, but that's a good adaptation out of that timeout to stop the A hit.
Yeah. Full weapon still in play, but it's all light armors for the side of All Knights, and 2 of the 5 for 2G. Also have to reserve the cash flow to just light armor as well. First aggressive look towards B main. Some shots. The Viper's ball also over towards A. Keeps his defense a bit split. Paint shells over towards Hookah. But All Knights, all things told, are very comfortable with this setup. The only consideration is, do we have a good look at the crossover towards B long? Because you've got one player penned up and ready to go over towards Hookah, but Silence comes through, and that's just not a good fire placement. The Pyro Bomb doesn't really do too much, and that's enough for Silence to still find 2. Spike now planted, 4v3.
I mean, just a sick adjustment. Already 2 players for 2G are out playing from long, where they have that safer angle on the Spike and a crossfire inside. Urso wants to go for the flank, and he does get the kill on Zap. That's a lot of pressure applied now from all angles.
Oh, LZ looking for the push through, and will be rewarded with another elimination. Annihilation will miss, and in that moment, Dante drops. So now it's just down to Adverso. 1v3, backside of sight. Cash is tight, and he's going to try to look for an exit, and luckily does find one. So should hold on to the weapon, and actually tallies another kill on the way out. So once again, another round that feels like it could have been winnable for All Knights. Just gets a little crossed up in that fight through Hookah, where once again, it's an individual who finds 2 when they shouldn't.
I mean, and when it's that individual, this is a good shot if you were a gambling man to bet on Silence. I mean, the adjustment onto the second. Sabando trying to trade against the untradeable force. It's just always good for two. You know, I'm not mad at Adverso trying to go for the annihilation at the very end there. It looked like the angle was decent, but it just didn't connect.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, that's just one of those moments you look back and say, we just got to have it. I mean, he's dead to rights. 6-3 the count going into round 10. Now it's down to what comes out and what timing for Spike on this Thrash. Last he used it, it came through mid, but he went to showers. Didn't fully work out. Adverso staying a bit more aggressive on this angle with the sensor right in front of him. And a shoulder will lead to his tag. Oh, this is aggressive. Grab net will go down. Barrier match, rather, I should say. And Prize just holds the angle and catches Adverso for free. The Thrash is also used simultaneously to make matters worse. Silence catches one through the smoke spam, leading to a zap plant.
At least Dante Deus does have this showstopper if they want to go for this.
Oh,
Nico
mercy.
Machine through the smoke, caught before any teammates could even provide assistance. And Prize just so aware of that flank.
These are good paint shells. Or they... Nah, never mind. Said this would have gotten the pick over towards bench, but it takes a weird bounce. And Dizzy will make sure Dante can do nothing. I'm actually surprised he still was out in the open. I thought he was behind cover. It wasn't the case. And it'll be a 7-3. Count through 10. 2G cooking with some gas. Still full purchase at the ready, though, for the side of All Knights coming to the next round.
I see a moment like that with Adverso, that deadlock in shower. I feel like it's tough not to compare this to TSM, and because I love how a Proto plays it, but I feel like in a situation like that, I would have seen a Proto, get that barrier mesh down and then retreat back to the site, just crossfire with his teammates while they're getting in, not, push too forward where he's in an engagement.
Yeah.
And that would have been really helpful, really necessary in that situation.
And what the philosophy behind the barrier mesh is that you delay someone from being able to help out in a fight, not just keep them pinned in a corner where you can take a 1v1 that's still as 50-50 as it gets. Here comes a walk down through hookah. Passive angle being held, and Dante doesn't even get a shot off by the sound of it. Impressive opening shots from Spike. And now it's a 5v4 where the whole defense is going to rely on this walk down through B long, and it's been red. Nico will be alerted that he's playing through long, and with a lurk from Prize, this is going to be a full commit on day.
They have absolutely picked this defense apart. It's Prize getting all that space in the meantime towards Lamps. It's making it such an easy call to come back. They just have to contend with a couple ultimates here.
Oh, but the showstopper goes wide. Sabando tagged, but down to 6 HP. Still has the orbital strike available. He needs to stay alive. They need this. A little bit of healing coming through. Spike will be collected by Silent. Thinks about it, seeing if he can pull the orbital strike out, but holding on to it still is Sabando. Second attempt. Still not calling his orbital strike in. That's going to lead to a post-plant 4v2. I felt like that was a missed chance right there, especially with Nico collecting on the double. Spike down low. But Nico has a lot of ground he has to at least regain. And this is going to be a double stack where he's not going to get a chance unless they line up for some reason.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he wants to pull the trigger on this Trailblazer. Not the Trailblazer, excuse me, the Seekers either.
Well, the snake bite doesn't quite land. Nico follows up. Right click is good, but Prize is fully healthy with full armor. It would take a miracle, and it's not going to happen. 8-3 the count. All Knights down to their last round on this half. They really need 4.
A lot of indecision from a team that showed really only decisiveness on the first couple maps there. Just not confident to send out the orbital strike, getting baited a little bit by the tap, and then it was that moment of hesitation from LZ in which, I can't remember which player it was in Heaven, but they had gone down, and then he's like, oh, well, I can't use it now. We're in a 2v4. They just never picked a moment to try and send it with those ults, get an upset round win. At the very least, though, they feel like, all right, let's retain them all and get the last round of the half with them. 4 ults for All Knights, 0 for 2G.
It's just really one of those pain points because, let's be honest, like, Seekers plus Orbital Strike very well could have won that round, especially with Nico finding a couple of kills. But hindsight is 2020 for a reason. Trailblazer denied. Paint shells up and out, clears out part of hookah, but the sensor will stay active. And this could be some interesting timing. If Nico drops here, these Seekers may as well have been used last round. Flash is out. He's going to be forced to hold. Orbital Strike is being at least queued up, but the Thrash is through, and that just gets countered, and everyone's alive. Another missed chance here for All Knights.
Instant teleport info going to be gathered though by Tishoff, who has the camera there. Savano is just on the hunt. Well, there was a showstopper from the front.
I mean, that was nearly the pinch of the heavens right there. Doesn't work out. Flashes through. Dante holding as best as he can. Still an opportunity, considering the fumbles for All Knights on these ultimates. They can still pull this round back, but that's a missed chance for Tinshoff. Leading Adverso now for a 1v3. In a good corner. Gets the first, but nothing further. It'll be a 9-3 half in favor of 2G here in map number 3.
So dominant on a map where they've already displayed excellence, getting floated to the end. It was a dangerous map pool here for All Knights, and this is exactly why. I mean, it's pretty cool, but coming into this game, it ranked all the players right now in Ascension so far in the tournament by ACS. Number 1, Dante. Number 2, Silence. Number 3, Spike. All in the server right now, but it's Silence, who was number 2, that is just completely taking over. I mean, Dante certainly had his moments on Abyss, had his moments on Sunset, but it has just been the Silence show.
Wow. What a half. And that is tons of pressure to All Knights. Again, this is more than just the 1v1 between these two teams at the moment. You know, at 2-0, if 2Game win this map, they will pretty much be guaranteed to make it into the Ascension playoffs. All Knights become, well, they find themselves in the midst of a pretty big slog of teams at 1 and 2. 2-1 is going to feel a lot better, especially considering that it's a slow start from TSM, who would have to pull, I think, maybe a miracle off. But there's a world here where they very well may meet TSM at the end of the road of the round robin in a head-to-head winner-takes-all to get into playoffs, especially considering the road in front of them. And All Knights still have Rada to play through before they eventually meet TSM, where TSM will have to play M80. That'll be happening tomorrow. So it's an interesting couple of days, but this is an important map here. If All Knights can find a way to go 2-1, it pretty much throws them into the immediate conversation for qualifying for playoffs.
Super important game. We're almost there, getting done with the group stage. Still a fair bit to go, but man, these two teams have just, I think, really made a name for themselves, blown everybody away with how skilled they are.
I mean, especially compared to last year, where it was both North American teams and a large gap, and then everybody else, right? I mean,
yeah,
we just weren't sure what we were going to get this year, especially just comparing regional results. But yeah, I'll be honest, I've been super impressed. I mean, this Brazilian squad of 2G currently holding some favor, but the largely Argentinian squad of All Knights and the Chilean Org of Rada have all done well as the first blood comes through long. Silent gets taken down, and that's going to force the defense to have to play deeper back as the teleport into Hookah is on the way.
A little scary for Silence. Don't think he was expecting to run into the quad face stack. LZ, did he hear some movement from him first? So I'm not entirely sure. Spikes, though, on the angle. Gets the first but immediate trade.
Good lurk from Adverso. Keeps the long play at bay. Prize, Zap, last two left. One through Heaven, one through Connector. Spike down, 2v4. It's one of those good luck, have fun moments, it feels like, especially with the Deadlock getting some extra utility around the Spike.
This is the situation where the Deadlock thrives. If you get the Spike down with her alive, get to throw that utility down, you are good to go.
Clean. Okay. Important round right there for All Knights. Now it's just down to following it up and not dropping the anti-eco, which, again, feels like that's as much likely as we've seen. I think especially for All Knights, you know, these kind of half-buy rounds, they have been very, very good. So it feels like kind of an outlier that we saw in the first half. Where on the other side, 2Game Esports have not been particularly great when they play at a disadvantage. So I'm sure they're happy to have seen that last anti-eco come through. But this one's going to be a little bit different, I'd say.
Big lead, but not out of the woods yet. One Sheriff for Zap, one for LZ as well. Trying to take a little bit of forward presence once A duel on the pretty tight angle here on short. Get a quick reaction time headshot to find even just a little bit of an advantage.
With patience for All Knight's not wanting to make any early mistakes. They're going to let Tinchoff do what he does best. Just kind of lurk up B long. No immediate contest. The wall actually kind of helps Tinchoff a little bit. He can get a little bit deeper here. So he'll clear out the octagon. Spy Cam at mid has seen no one's pushed over towards Sands. And now it's just down to what play do you make if you're All Knights. If this contact could be everything, and Tinchoff will win out on it. Same thing can be told as Zap will drop at Sands, and now Prize is just, he's dead. There's just no way he gets out of this.
No, they are trying to cook him. I mean, they're at least providing some help from the teleport, but yeah, this is not going to work out.
Silence can take a seat.
Left.
And with Tinchoff already gaining B site control, they will take the safe route all the way around through long. Barrier mesh also in the way of the teleporter. Kinda. And there's just no way Spike and Silence get a look at this. Surely not.
Silence going to try his best, but shut down straight away. Adverso en route to another early annihilation. Had one very quick in the first half, too. Hasn't found value with it as of this point, but maybe that'll change around with this comeback attempt from All Knights, bringing everything into the next. Tinchoff and Savant are going to have a lot of cash, so the buy for around 15 should be pretty solid, all things considered, for All Knights.
Should be. It's going to be Spike sacrificing his life to the Spike. That never gets less awkward, saying those two things back to back. And it'll be a Blacklight Flawless for All Knights. And most importantly, with two Sheriffs in the mix, we could actually see this bonus be even upgraded into a little bit if they want to. Plenty of cash involved, and yep, at least one of those Sheriffs will be turned into a rifle. Actually, both of them will. So this is going to feel very formidable for AK coming in around 3.5.
Yeah, pretty much a fully legit buy. That's why you just keep a couple pistols on that round 2, and if they stay alive, win it out, you've got a ton of money. This is a very legit buy, and then they're going to have full rifles for the next. So dangerous for 2G. They've got 2 tough rounds ahead of them, as it looks like they want to fight for showers very early on. Silence, well, at least holding the angle for a moment, breaks that camera. And now the pressure comes short.
Net is down, but Luis is fine to take care of the dart. Threat was there, but the push through still yet to come. And in that moment, look at the aggression through showers here. Luis just has to hold on to the back of the site. Do not allow All Knights to scale deep, and he's done well to catch the first. Zap over the top, catches another, and oh my goodness, the trades are great. And you still have 2 defenders in showers that can flood back into the site whenever you want them to, with a long lurk from Prize to make sure there's no retreat back.
Yeah, they can't even feel safe going for the teleport right now. Trailblazer having a tough time. Good pick from Tinchoff. Things getting scarier for 2G. Prize is coming from short, but he'll have to break a tripwire if he wants to go all the way, and does do that. Position revealed.
Well, puts a lot of pressure in the clock, but Nico, wow. Almost catches Zap jump cornering over through the link.
Left.
Now he's weak. It's going to force the attention back towards Spike. Nico on the plant. Zap still making sure no one's pushed through. Wingman trying to clear out the backside of sight as best as possible. But Tinchoff with this post plant deep over towards the link. This could work out, but Zap catches the rifle, and what a snap for a second. Holy! How does he get both on low HP? It's a snap of the ages to 2G now being on double-digit rounds.
Yeah, Zap is just always good for a few super high impact rounds. Tough to always top the scoreboard when you have Silent and Spikes on your team, but you will find the kills that will be the round winners. Was worried there when Spike just went down a bit earlier than the rest, while Prize was trying to maneuver all the way back through their spawn, but the timing ended up working so well for them. All Knight's getting a bit too adventurous in that round. The walks through the smoke into backside. None of the defenders had been flashed up.
No escape.
Wow. Felt like an opportunity there to pull something back for All Knights. but now at 5-10 with a full purchase and not a lot of coffers left to fight into round 17, this is a must-win round right here if you're AK. Otherwise, you're looking at probably a 12-5 count.
Okay.
With that teleport off from Zap, AK probably feeling like this B site is a little bit weak right now. Silence on the rotate over, so it will be manned by 3 defenders. They've left Dante inserted back in long. In the meantime, Chop still working towards short, gets an opportunity, doesn't find it though.
Could be a meeting of the minds here over towards shower side. Tinchoff has a lot to work with as a defensive smoke gets placed. Cyber Cage behind that, and another shoulder peek comes out. Look at this aggression from Zap. And this just makes the defense of 2G at B know that this is going to be a B hit. You got paint shells at the ready. You got a lot of Viper utility still too. The wall reset. The snake bite at the ready. And still
30 seconds
the
left.
ability to rotate another player in. 30 seconds left. Now it's just down to playing off the timing. Seeker's going to come through. The response is out from both the paint shells and the snake bite. And everything's held back. 18 seconds. You got to find a way in. Oh, man.
Right into the molly. Dante just biding his time.
One enemy
Kills are
remaining.
good.
10
Zap
seconds
is
left.
not a part of this picture. Wow. AK, just before time runs out in the play, find the plant. And Zap is going to save. So just when you thought 2G had everything they could possibly want in terms of information, they don't win the fights that matter on top of the site, and All Knights will stay alive.
That's got to be a pretty frustrating round for 2G. That defense thwarted despite having all of the rotates there. They had the read on the situation. They had the read on All Knights cutting noise, just going for the B side, re-hit. But they just simply lost out the duels. And that was even after delaying the clock so heavily. It was just shy of 20 seconds left on the clock when All Knights were actually able to get in because of the snake bites on the ground, the nades on the ground. 2G really did everything right. They just didn't get the kills. And we are playing an FPS game, so I suppose that does matter quite a bit.
Holy cow. Okay. Tactical pause on the other side for 2Game. Just wanted to make sure that nothing went terribly wrong there. I mean, it just felt like the mollies that were placed worked out decently, but maybe too much trust that the AoE denial was going to win them the round. They just didn't really have the guns up in time to deal with the full push through that All Knights had to make. So it's a lifeline, but still things are less than comfortable, I'd say, for All Knights on this comeback attempt.
Yes, certainly. I mean, 2Game, the thing is, if they continue to play rounds like that, eventually they are going to hit their shots and win the remaining rounds out. You know, they had to beat on what All Knights were doing, and if that continues to be the case, they should be able to lock this up. Just 3 away.
Should feels like a very big word right now with these two teams playing.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, listen, anything's possible. And I also, I mean, 2G are also doing the right thing, against this deadlock too. You have to fight at the chokes, deny them getting in, be a more proactive defensive team. You can't let the deadlock to be alive in a post plan.
Yep.
You got to be active. You got to take the fight to them. You have to anchor hard.
No,
and they do know that. Oh, we couldn't avoid it. we couldn't avoid it. We were so close.
An effort was made.
We were so close.
An effort was made.
we might just be 3 rounds away from this being over. We were so close to no tech pauses for game 1. You just
can't win them all.
See it.
Can't win them all. So I mean, here's the question. I think, on both sides, if you're All Knights, again, the executes have happened. Some have been less than clean. I think a lot of this is like reminiscent of like way old school T1 where like they're not showing anything until the last 45 seconds and then they burst. That feels kind of maybe par for the course, maybe especially after what we saw out of them from Abyss. But if you're 2Game, do you try to get maybe a little bit more proactive? Do you try to get someone, active through B long instead of just playing someone active through showers? I mean, what's the call here, during their timeout to make sure the defense stays solid?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think it's really to change up much than what they're doing right now. I think they're playing perfectly fine. All Knights are being pretty patient for the first 40 seconds or so of the rounds. They are just trying to insert players, post them up, wait out any repushes from 2Game. It's really just about finding that moment where the hit is coming in or about to come in, where the transitional moment for the attackers where they're throwing all their utility, then kind of hitting, and you just are able to post up with the anchors, fight them at the chokes, try to deny them getting in, disconnect the duelists from the rest of them. Just not giving up the sites in that kind of spot. I think they're doing the right thing, honestly.
That's fair. It's just like one of those things, like when you deal with an offensive team that is saying, sure, take parts of the map, we'll just figure it out later, and then go the opposite direction. It just forces these natural odd man situations on site because there's just no way for the defense to stack and rotate. If you were to be maybe a little bit more aggressive, like we saw, I think the one round in particular where LZ gets aggressive through showers, he gets a read that no one's playing through A. It's a 4v5 over towards the B side, and even that doesn't work out for the side of 2Game. So maybe some individual trust starts to be earned when you're All Knights and you win out rounds like that. Like, okay, we're still shooting, we're still mitigating all this defensive utility. Just keep the, like he's mentioned, to keep the deadlock alive, get him set up as soon as we get a plan off, and win the round after that. Easy enough, right?
Pretty much. And we should be getting back into the game here shortly. And we are. Love to see that. Love to see a quick tech pause. All right, Adverso is sitting on that Annihilation too when we get into this. 2G buying what they can, but making sure they have full for the next. There will be a hero rifle on Zap, who's been really coming alive on defense.
This needs to be clean from All Knights. That's pretty much all you can ask for. Start to build up the bank a little bit. In case something goes wrong, you've got extra lifelines to fight up against this deficit you're at right now. Same passive approach for All Knights. Trying to get a read if anyone from the defense is going to take this odd buy and try to do something crazy. And the answer is they're not. So spy cam double trap setup would lead you to believe this is going to be an A hit eventually. This comes down to what can Zap find with his hero rifle deep into heaven.
Just hoping to find his on the cross. You know, there's no Viper because of the deadlock, so you do have access to this angle, had an opportunity, but just going to play it a bit more passively. Hoping to get that one and then play a 5 versus 4 retake, of course, but not going to be the case. Just an honest 5 versus 5.
And I just don't know how you retake this with Stingers, the Sheriff, and one hero rifle, especially the barrier mesh down. Mosh out. Nico, nope, doesn't really take any damage from that. A little bit of healing just to make sure everyone stays nice and healthy. Sabano still with just one more smoke to play off of. Again, just to delay. As soon as that barrier mesh gets deleted, he'll throw the smoke down. And I just don't know what you do here if you're 2G besides just try to flood and hope.
Pretty much, right? You just have to play together and win the duels and pray. I mean, they don't even have a Trailblazer to get back into lamps. And, well, you can see the effect of that. I mean, players went in there and just got a goddamn boom to the door. So
Remember, wipe the pins from your gun.
It was always going to be tough for 2G. No util, only one rifle. They're not going to be too concerned about a loss into that round. It would have been nice to get a little bit of damage, at least onto the opposition, but not going to be the case.
And now this round becomes super important, I would say more so from the 2G side. I mean, All Knights have done their job. They've gotten themselves back within shouting distance. They've got a good economy built up. They've got a couple of ultimates that are really close to being earned, if not already earned. And if 2G lose this round, they'll be back to a safe. Annihilation comes out. It catches Luis. Is anyone able to deny that? Doesn't look like it. So that's going to be a free first and second. The spike will also drop. It's just down to one inside the site. Silent has been scouted out by the neural theft. He has to back off, and this is going to have to be likely a save. There's just no way you take this 3v5.
Yeah, there's just no option but saving.
Wow.
I mean, pretty straightforward. Adverso finally getting some very significant value with the Annihilation. Taking down LZ. I mean, even if a spike doesn't go down, good luck retaking. You've got no smokes to come back in with. That's always going to be so tough. And so Spike just feels like, I've got to make a play right now. I got to catch a timing swing, maybe win a fast duel outside lamps and then retain control of it, but it's just immediately shut down.
Now I'm starting to panic a little bit, I think, if you're 2G. I mean, it's been very passive from their defense. You've got double initiators. Why not take some aggressive ground away? Get some looks, at least, towards the outsides of the map. A little bit more predictability, and maybe they're just kind of living in their own the heads rent-free about what happened over towards B a couple of rounds ago, where they got the perfect prediction, they got the map control they wanted, and still didn't win the round. I just feel like that was the recipe for success. It just came down to they trusted the mollies too much, and now all of a sudden, All Knights start to build up some momentum, and 2G got to be really thinking about what's going on here after they already spent their time out.
Yeah, I don't love the emphasis on lamps on A from 2G. If they play more heavily for shower, deny that area of the map, because of that lack of Viper, there's nothing covering the attackers coming in from short.
Yeah, sure.
It's a much better spot to fight from, and then you can have someone else, backside or heaven as well.
Well, let's see. Spice got Thrash at the ready. He's holding close to the front doors here, so it looks like they do want to try to play a little bit more contest heavy. Louise on the corner, wingman out. Here comes the follow-up. Orbital strike is down, though. This is really well placed, and that's enough to take Spike out of the picture. Follow-up from Zap keeps us level. Adverso, as the smoke drops, good for one, and also gets a read that the defensive Sky is playing backside elbow. This should be a commit to get into B.
Yeah, now have fun.
What?
Oh, okay, I don't know how Zap got that one. A little fight from here on A. Lurk effort. Dante considering rounding the corner, but going to play the situation a little bit safer. Make sure that he has a teammate with him to double face,
man.
and that just destroys Zap.
Should put this onto the picture, but Silent had seen one over towards Hookah. Doesn't make a difference. The help is there, and now it's just on Prize. Staring down the barrel of 9-10. And what would likely have to be a bit of a save in the next round. Can he find a way to sneak up and make this possible? There's the first contact, misses it. Snakebite down, but the window has closed, and Prize has to get out of there, just try to save the weapon. As we're gonna get a 9-10 count, and All Night continue to build up the bank accounts.
Those are some really great fundamentals there on display from All Knights to just pick apart the remaining 3 players. B long take was great too, just totally nullifying that aggression with the orbital strike. It was so well placed from Sabando.
Timing was great. I mean, I will say, just kind of to counteract some of the previous experience that we've seen, is like, we're holding on to ults for too long if you're All Knights. That time, a proactive call essentially wins them the round. Gets the initial trade into play, gets a lot of entryway opened up in towards B. And that's all you need. Especially when you've got things like barrier meshes being thrown behind that. So now, a Bucky, a Bulldog, the one rifle with a Stinger Sheriff support. Orbital Strike and Thrash are here in silence with one Bucky kill. We'll have a showstopper. So don't sleep on what 2G could do in this round, but All Knights got to be feeling like 10 is right there in front of them right here at round 20.
Definitely. A kill here or there for 2G could just cascade into ults being used in a chaotic round. 2G have opted to take a little bit of space towards B. Just this bait setup for Zap in the corner on that side of the map. Shower's almost fully given up. Good info from the Trailblazer though, and wow, the Thrash going through, but he stuns Zap. It's caught on the door.
Orbital Strike behind this, grab that there. It does get messy. But overall, we stay 4v4. 40 seconds on the clock. And Silence may have a chance here. Snakebite goes down. Silence is going to try to follow up behind this. Oh, but Sabando had the wristlet open, trying to play smokes, and he comes away with 2. Are you joking?
Oh my god, that is ridiculous. I mean, that was straight up him just on the iPad baby mode, and he just TP'd it.
Flash out, still a chance here. Couple of kills come through, but Sabando gets his 3rd. Nico finalizes the last, and it's a 10-10 count. It starts to get messy, but all things tallied. It's AK still in the driver's seat with a showstopper and Seekers, I believe, at the ready.
Things have gotten a little bit too chaotic That thrash onto Zap was a tragedy over on that attempt
Remaining.
to crunch those players that were playing outside of shower. I mean, it's not a terrible idea.
No, not at all.
Trailblazer to thrash prize there, but
Throwing next.
absolute chaos in that situation.
The wild thing about that, Wyatt, is if Silence catches Sabando, if he steps a little bit further forward, that's an instant showstopper into a likely double. He had everything in front of him. But Sabando hits the teleporter and just sits in a corner. Unbelievable timings. Full purchase. Showstoppers for both sides. Seekers for Nico. You would have to think that AK will likely use that as soon as they decide on what site they want to go to, which very well may be this B site. And those Seekers will say everything in terms of where Dante needs to focus the showstopper.
Hoover control just silently gained, playing off defensive. Viper wall to take that space. Right stun though.
Oh no. Oh, this has gone terribly wrong. The Seekers don't really do what they're intended to do. Everything gets used at once, and the stun that lands has Dante stuck in the open, and 2G in a round that they didn't look prepared for the hit as much as you have seen previously. They don't even drop a single member.
30
What?
seconds left.
Made from Silence to try to deny this plant. Going to get some damage, you would think. Yeah, a bit onto Nico Machine, but listen, tough for All Knights, but this could still be winnable if they set up a good crossfire.
Yeah.
They're going to have to hit some sick individual shots as well.
This has got to be a blast pack showstopper from Silence, surely. There it is. It's a little labored, and whoa, Tinshop! He's able to find a couple. The crossfire setup is brilliant, and it's a 3v5. Really, just call it a 2v5 win for All Knights. An absolute disaster for 2G.
Devastating. Devastating. Just All Knights fighting forward.
No way.
The scaling was so off. Silence gets the first with his gun. At that point, he just needs to keep it out. Tries to get the showstopper, just falls with it in his hands. Tinshov holding the angle. That late wrap around the box. Crushing for 2G. Crushing. Look at this string of rounds that All Knights have gotten.
Wow.
Cage trigger.
I mean, that's just inexcusable. We beefed the blast packs. We don't even really get the showstopper into play. And we all just flood. It's just like we lost focus. You got to play all 4 quarters.
I'd have to see it again, but I think that blast back even knocked his own teammates back a little bit to knock in a position to trade.
I think so.
It really just devolves into chaos, and All Knights controlled. The temperament was nice within it. The wrap was nice, but Viper's Pit now placed on A short to deny that part of the map as Showers is taken by All Knights. Intentions of going through A, but Nico Machine has already expended that Trailblazer, right? So you're not having that opportunity to clear the Viper out of the pit. It's going to be tough.
Oh, and they get the mosh and the paint shells for 1 guiding light. That's value for All Knights overall, who now can get Adverso to drop deep barrier meshes or graph nets. And wouldn't you know it, they fake them out of their shoes. They just walk right around the Viper's pit. Prize, who has not had a particularly great series, is going to have to be the hero. And oh my goodness, is he ever provided a double out of the Stinger. Nico will still get the plant, though. And how about Dante? He's trying to sneak out and try to see if he can find Prize. He's not able to find him. Numbers are good for 2G. Prize still hanging out in the Viper's pit. But you got to still find some entryway to get over towards Link. Adverso, topside bench clean. Prize will drop. Nico still holding on the corner with the double. Adverso on bench. He's got the sensor in play. All Knights are going to hang on and take the round to get to 12.
You have to be joking. 3v5 there again? They just can't keep getting away with this, man. Prize should not be getting 2 in that pit. Absolute hero, like you said. And then all of a sudden, All Knights getting pinched from all angles. Heaven coming from spawn. Have to deal with Prize short. They just can't win a duel. Adverso on bench, that headshot angle was perfect. Nico Machine just crossing from sight while all the attention was drawn to bench. What a collapse What a collapse. That was after 2G as
Oh,
well.
no.
Had all gotten the rotate to B. They just left Prize alone. The pit was circumvented entirely. That is stunning. You kind of have to feel, and I know that 2Game feel, we won this game.
Yep.
And we just let it slip through our grasp.
Absolutely. And I don't even know what you say here in this tactical timeout for 2G. Boys, regain. What else do you say? Like, those are as winnable as they get. There is no actual, this is not even a tactical pause. This is a mental reset pause.
That is the first time I think I've seen a 2G player like head in hands actually mentally getting thrown off. They have been so hyped up. They're talking trash. It's all smiles, excitement. This is the first time it looks like they've actually been kind of crushed.
Oh, yeah.
The emotions headed in the opposite direction. It could be all over for them. Adverso, another annihilation ready.
Unreal stuff. Good sidestep for Silence. Stays away from the grab. Annihilation out. Does not connect. Silence still working his way through these smokes. Still playing the backside of the site. You still have some good position for Prize as well over towards Lamps. You can still contest. Plant trying to come through. Forced away. AK getting aggressive. Whoa, Dante for 2, but the trades are even. 2v2 situation. Orbital strike earned for Luis. Barrier mesh blocking out Silence, kind of. He's still in the picture defensively, though. Adverso knows he's got him trapped in a corner, but the spike is down. Orbital strike's gonna get called in. Silence able to find that into a kill. Now it's just down to Adverso. He knows where both players are. Can he find a way to finesse, to isolate? Barrier mesh drops. He catches the first. No trade immediately. And now a question. Has Luis rotated away?
I have the spike.
What's the timing look like? Adverso gets the spike, takes the fight, and bang! Wins the 1v2! And All Night shut down the undefeated 2G Esports squad for a second win in the groups.
I mean, how clutch is that at the end? 2 3v5s, Adverso 1v2 to close the game. That's how they get their final 3. Outrageous. Outrageous from a veteran player, Adverso, that, like I mentioned earlier, was really just kind of forgotten about in the wider scene. Once playing with Lev, trying to find his footing elsewhere. Now on a team of some young players in All Nights. That experience rubbing off on them, and individually has just looked sick. The play on the final 2 maps from him, utterly fantastic. What a shocking end for 2Game. And I mean, they are walking away from this feeling that they threw the game. There's no other way to think about it.
2 3v5s and 1v2, Wyatt. I might be no big brain expert like you, but my mind says that's a throw. That's an absolute breakdown.
Bigger number? That's a win.
Yeah.
You should win.
Correct.
They did so many of those defensive rounds. They played correctly. There were some things here and there that I wasn't a huge fan of, but overall, they played enough rounds correctly that it garnered enough man advantages that they should have closed that out. But the firepower from All Nights, the clutch factor, unbelievable.
That changes the dynamic of the entire group stage as well, as now both 2Game Esports and All Nights will be at 2-1, leaving just M80 as being undefeated. So we'll see how things unfold, but we got to send things to the desk to give us their reactions, because wow, what a series to kick off our day today.
What a series and what a win for the side of All Night. Insane what we just got the chance to see. It was 8 rounds in a row on the second half Steribon that they were winning back to back to back until they were able to close it out. I mean, it takes resilience to make something like this happen.
Yeah, 2G got hit with a 9-3 curse. I mean, if you look, both teams really struggled on that defense side, especially because we ended with a 9-3 half, and then when the half switched over, 2G just could not get a single round afterwards. They got 1. And then AK, phenomenal. Like, the mental that they have to just come back from a 9-3 and to win this game is absolutely crazy. But I mean, we really got to see Deadlock really shine on that second half on attack,
Yes.
especially in the post plant, where it just makes it so hard to retake when there's just so much util going on, and they were just really hitting their shots. I feel like 2G seemed a little bit disoriented in their team play. You saw them have a lot of numbers advantages. You saw them have a lot of good reads on where they thought AK was going to go, but the round just didn't pan out in terms of firepower.
It comes down to the little things and once again the details that a lot of the teams have been talking about to be able to close out these rounds. It was the hero plays coming through for the side of All Knights once again, and once again being led by Adverso, doing so good throughout, even closing that 1v2 out. We were watching it in the green room kind of wondering if it was actually going to happen, and he makes it easy. The information for him is everything, and he was doing this constantly. Gomper, something that we saw as well was his Dantadeos on the race that we had our questions about, because they were not playing with Dantadeos on the race before. It was actually Nico Machine doing it, so they changed this composition. We get to see Dantadeos on the race, and he was able to perform really well. It was a very united mission for this whole team to close out, and they were able to do just that.
Dude, this team is incredibly calculated. And for those of you watching, it seems like, okay, well, it was luck. It could have been luck. It could have been something of the sort for AK where, you know, they really did step up their game, but it was pure calculation from the start of that pistol round. If you guys noticed, going into that second half, pistol round, okay, they did a great fight. They got whatever they wanted, but they're putting this 4-person push up, and they allow Nico to take this first pick. Keep that in mind. After that, okay, they go back towards the TP for rotation. You think, what the heck? Okay, yeah, I guess they want to take that 1v4 fight down towards A. They know rotation has started. This actually allows them a free 3-piece. They get that pick on this lurk rotation coming through. And so now, not only are you starting that load up for Nico Machine to get his ultimate down in the third round upcoming, but you also allow yourself this free pistol round. You take in the second round, Nico Machine thrives off of that, they collect some orbs, third round comes along, and then you have the ultimate to solidify that third round to come through for that 3-piece. So it's like everything leading up to this moment has just worked out so well because of their calculation of a free first 2 rounds and then a possible ultimate to put into that third. And then from there, just economic despair.
And it was something that they really needed on the side of All Knights, because yesterday, even though they got that win, it was a win where they were struggling to get to pistols. The bonus was going the other side. There were Galores. Things were a little bit messy between the two. But now you can tell that All Knights has been working on that, and it's hard to do because you're playing all these back-to-back matches every single day. But they're able to fix those mistakes. And on the other side of 2 game, I like how close this match was, and I think it's good that they're able to learn from this, because we know how strong they are as a team and how much you're going to be able to work around this. Losing, I feel like early in the group stages is good to do, Starryban, because then you're able to work around it, learn from your mistakes, losing these matches, and then to see how far they're able to make it eventually.
Yeah, for sure. I think this loss, they can get a lot from it. They can learn so much from it, and I think it really get them to tighten up their mistakes. And I agree with you when you say it's easier to take those losses a little bit early on, but I mean, they're put in a great position. They're still 2-1 currently, so I mean, they still have a little bit more leg room to work with, and hopefully they'll be able to come back strong.
We're going to find out how that's going to play out, but that's it for this match. We're going to throw it to a break. We're going to have an interview, and when we come back, we have the second match of the day.
Nice helping.
No more. Por favor! Eu assisto a voz de vocês, guys. Vai fazer a mesma coisa?
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
What the fuck?
Spike planted.